Okay, so I read significantly less books this month than I did last month. Hopefully that means this won't take me hours to edit like last month's video did. Hello everybody, my name is Danny and welcome back to my channel. Today is my favorite video to film each month because I love TBR games and it's my TBR game, Skee-B-R. But before we get to rolling my ball and picking out what books I'll be reading for November, first, as always, we have to go over the books that I read this month in October. And like I said, there are significantly less than I read in September, so hopefully this goes quite a bit quicker. First up on my official Skee-B-R TBR that I read was The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. This was a length prompt and I ended up giving it 3 stars. While I did enjoy the spooky atmosphere of it, I did not enjoy the dense writing, and it took so much brain power just to read and understand what was going on. Very glad that it was super short because I could not have handled this dense of writing for anything longer than this. I read this as part of my cozy weekend thing that I had a couple weeks ago, and I will link the vlog that I did for that weekend for you guys to watch if you would like. But yes, this was the first pick. 3 stars, not bad. Honestly, I had quite a few 3 stars this month, but sometimes it's just how it is. Then I read Bursinger, which was also a length prompt, but clearly the other end of the spectrum, and it was also 3 stars as well. And I was just really annoyed with most of the POV characters, like Aragon and Saphira, spoilers I guess, are separated throughout most of this book, and they're just, every time they're just whining about missing the other one, and like, we do get Saphira as her own POV character because she's separated from Aragon, and she's just so annoying. Like, I don't enjoy reading from her point of view. This also fell into some very racist fantasy tropes, especially when talking about Nasuada. She's like one of the only named characters who's described as having dark skin, and we're constantly reminded that she has dark skin, and her nickname is Nighthawk, not because she's like good at spying or anything like that, or like undercover shadow stuff, but it's purely because she has dark skin, and the like people that she comes from are like a nomadic tribe, and their customs are often described as barbaric and things like that, that are like not good, but like unfortunately very common in fantasy, and I'm really sad that it happened in this book. I don't think I noticed much of that in the first two. It's definitely much, much more prominent here. Also, the Urgles, which are like orcs, if you know, like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, they also have quite a few problematic things associated with them that feel quite racist. And so, like, yeah, overall, I was just really disappointed with this. Only one more book left in the series, and I am hoping it picks up again and does not suck like this one did. Then I read Endgame, and also technically Act Without Words is in this, a play by Samuel Beckett, and this was for a genre prompt where I had to read poetry or a play, and I also gave this 3 stars. I feel like I would have enjoyed it much, much more if I had seen it performed, or at the very least was reading it for a class, and like we were all reading and kind of acting it out together rather than just me reading it on my own, because that is how I first was introduced to, what am I saying? Waiting for Godot. My mind kept saying Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, but that is not Samuel Beckett, but it is very similar themes. Anyway, yes, I read him for a class, and it was very enjoying. I can't speak English. I enjoyed it a lot, more than I enjoyed this one, but I probably would have liked this one more if it was in that same setting. But yeah, 3 stars. And the last official pick for October was the Hunger Games. I'm holding up the box set because I'm not pulling them back out of here, and that was for an aesthetic prompt to pick a minimalist cover because this Mockingjay pin is the only thing on the cover of my copy of The Hunger Games, so I'm considering it minimalist. And I gave this 4 stars. I really, really liked it. It had pretty much everything going for it that I enjoy in a dystopian book, except the writing style. I absolutely hated it. I am not the biggest fan of first person. She says, having written first person stories pretty much all year and is going to write another one for Nano. It's fine. We're not going to talk about how I'm kind of a hypocrite. But it's just very like stuttery, I want to say. There's a lot of sentence fragments in here and just very like jolting writing. And yeah, that bothered me so much. And then after that, I read Catching Fire, which I also gave 4 stars. Really liked how the story was progressing, but again, the writing style kind of sucked. And then I read Mockingjay, and this one I only gave 3 stars. It was pretty good. I especially enjoyed the beginning, even though it was kind of slow, and I like wish it would picked up sooner. But then also once it did pick up, I started hating the direction the story was going, and the last like 5 or 6 chapters and the epilogue were just awful. Not a fan. So 3 stars. Like I said, a lot of 3 stars in this not haul wrap up. My brain is just frazzled today. I apologize. But yes, that was this trilogy. And then besides those, I read a couple of different manga. So first up was My Hero Academia Volume 29, which is called Katsuki Bakugo Rising, because holy crap did he get the character development he deserved in this one. I obviously gave this 5 stars. I cannot wait for the next one. Like, it doesn't come out in like English until March. Like, obviously the chapters are out in English, but I prefer to read it as each volume and not just individual chapters, and so I don't know how I'm gonna last that long. It ended on such a cliffhanger for several characters, and oh my goodness, I need to know what happens next. I might just take a little bit of a sneak peek. I don't know. Then I read Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 12, which also got 5 stars, and we are right in the thick of the Shibuya incident arc, and oh my god, are things heating up. Like with My Hero, I just cannot wait to get my hands on the next volume. Luckily, I don't have to wait till March for the next one. I think it comes out in December, maybe January. Definitely too much longer than I want to wait, but it's fine. And then lastly, I read Devil's Line Volumes 2, 3, and 4, which I gave 5 stars, 4 stars, and 3 stars respectively. I'm still super into this story. It's not like the kind of thing I usually am into, which makes it all the more intriguing to me. But the story's kind of hit a little bit of a lull here, and I'm hoping that as it progresses, it picks back up and I start to really enjoy it, because right now I'm kind of just like meh about it. But yes, that is all of the books that I read this month in October. And so why don't we get on to picking my books for November? There are a couple of books that I hope end up on my November TBR. They're mostly like the beginnings of series so that I can read the ends of series by the end of the year. And that's for a super secret reason that you'll get to know by next week, actually, very soon. But yes, let's just get rolling and see what I end up with. Alright, let's kick things off with our first roll. Oh, and that was actually a 20. I can't remember the last time I hit the 20, but that's a genre prompt then. Okay, friends, I almost forgot to introduce this new rule that I have. I already filmed the first roll, but before we get to picking the prompt for that, I have this jar that I bought from work because it was super duper cute and only $1, and I was thinking, I don't know what I want to do with this jar. Then I came up with a new rule for my game because my boyfriend told me my game was too boring, and hopefully a new rule will spice that up. I have 10 different book titles in here, and 5 of them are books that I really, really, really want to read and I'm desperately wanting to get to like right away, and 5 of them are books that obviously I want to read them at some point, otherwise I wouldn't have bought them, but either they're like really chunky or I want to save them for later on and Regardless, I just don't want to read them right now. And basically, if I either I don't know why I'm out of breath right now. If I do not finish my TBR for a month as a punishment, I will have to pick a book out of this, or B, if I roll the same like point value all 4 times for my rolls, I will have to pick out of here. So I already don't think I'm going to have to pick out of here because I finished my TBR last month, and as you saw, I got a 20 for the first time in several months with my first roll. So I don't think I'm going to get a 20 for all 3 other ones, so unfortunately, don't think we'll be using the jar this month, but also kind of glad because November's going to be hectic, not quite as hectic as October was, but keeping just the 4 usual books on my thing instead of 5 or 6 is perfectly fine with me. But now, let's get on to choosing the prompts. Like I said, I rolled a 20 for my first roll, and that results in a genre prompt. So we've got the blue one's genre, right? Yeah. I don't know why, it's been a while, so I confused my bins. Blue bin genre prompt. Going to shake it up a little bit. And this one. An anthology. Not what I wanted to get this month, but it's fine. We're gonna find an anthology, gonna read it. Give me a moment. Okay, so there are only 2 anthologies on my shelf that I haven't read already, and so I picked the shorter of those, which is still this thick. But this is After the King. It is a collection of fantasy stories by a variety of authors in honor of J.R.R. Tolkien. And my boyfriend got this for me from a secondhand shop for Christmas last year, maybe the year before. I don't know. It's been too long regardless, so this is the first book on my Skee-B-R TBR. So why don't we get on to roll number 2 now? And now let's move on to roll number 2. And that is a 10, so also a genre prompt. Okay, so I got a 10, which means that I will not be using my new jar this month, but that does also mean I get another genre prompt. So we're bringing the blue bin back out and give it another shake. And let's see, pull from the bottom. Oh, they're all sticking together. Hopefully I can get one of those books that I wanted to read on this TBR. Mystery, thriller, or horror. I have the perfect book for this. It is not one of the ones that I wanted to get on this TBR, but it's fine. We're gonna go with it anyway. So my second pick for my Skee-B-R TBR for a mystery slash thriller slash horror is Give Me Your Hand by Megan Abbott. I actually just bought this yesterday at work because we got a new box of books in, and for $1, I'm gonna buy this. It sounded interesting enough. This is about, from what I could gather from the little blurb on the inside flap, 2 girls who were friends in high school, and they had some sort of falling out. There's some sort of dark secret revealed, and so they're not friends anymore. And then later on down the line, they are both vying for the same prestigious job in their field. I think they're biologists. That sounds vaguely familiar. But yeah, I think it said something about 2 timelines, so we get to see them in high school and then as adults, maybe? I don't know, it sounded really cool, so this is my second choice. And now, here we are with roll number 3. And that is a 10, giving us a length prompt. Okay, and so my next prompt is actually a length prompt, so I have my D8, we're gonna roll it, and okay. So, yeah, that is, oh, I dropped it again, hold on. That is a 5. I tried to pick it up and I dropped it. But yeah, 5. So, do I know how my game works? Yeah, so I have to pick a book between 401 and 500 pages. Yes, this is my game. I should know how it works. It's fine. I'll be right back with the book. Okay, so for this one, I will be reading The Rise of Kyoshi by F.C.E. This is the first book in the Kyoshi duology. I read it when it first came out. and then never picked up the sequel. But I recently bought it, and so now I want to reread this one so that I can then read the second one, because that's how book series work. But this is, oh, I just looked at it, 430 something pages, 440 something? I don't know, but it fits within our page limit, so I'm glad I got to fit this on there. This cover is gorgeous. I love Kyoshi. She's my favorite avatar. But yes, book 3 on my TBR. Yeah, let's just move on. And now we're on to the last roll, which is roll number 4, which is also a 10. So now an aesthetic prompt. Okay, and that was our last roll. So now we get to do an aesthetic prompt. So we have the green bin. I'm really glad that this is almost over because I feel like I'm losing my mind. I am stupid and waited until the day before this is supposed to go up to film, so I'm a little stressed. I'm rushing, but it's fine. We're getting some good books on here. So let's pull out our last prompt. Oh, they're all stuck together. Hold on. Stand by for technical difficulties, please. This one. Warm tones. So, as far as I understand it, which is not very well, warm tones are like red and orange and yellow. So I know what book I'm gonna pick for this because it's the other book that I wanted to hopefully fit on this TBR. So give me 1 second to go grab it. And here we are with my last book that you can't see the title of because I somehow lost the dust jacket in my many, many years of owning this. But this is The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. This is book 1 of the Kane Chronicles, which is the trilogy about Egyptian gods. And yeah, a couple years ago I reread the entire Percy Jackson series and Heroes of Olympus series, and then finally read all 5 Trials of Apollo, and they were so good. And then after that, a couple months later, I read all 3 Magnus Chase books for the very first time, and I really loved them. And so now it's time I reread the Kane Chronicles, because that's all that's left. Though Rick Riordan does have a book coming out in November, I think, maybe December, I don't know, called Daughter of the Deep, and I really want to get my hands on that. But first, we're going to focus on this. And so this is the last book on my official November Skee-B-R TBR. Oh boy, that's a lot of words. Give me a second to compose myself, and then I'll do my final thoughts on this TBR. Okay, friends, I am back and struggling to hold my books. But overall, I'm very happy with these selections. Up top here, we have After the King, which was an anthology prompt. And then we have Give Me Your Hand, which was a mystery slash thriller slash horror, so this is like a mystery, I think. And then we have Rise of Kyoshi. I almost said Shadow of Kyoshi, but that's the second one, and I couldn't think of what the first one was called for a second. But yes, Rise of Kyoshi, which was a book that was between 401 and 500 pages. And then we have The Red Pyramid, which was a book with warm tones. And so, there you go. These are my books. As always, if you enjoyed this chaotic video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to my channel for more content. That way I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!